and you're watching WHC TV, Channel 4.
Hello, Hazel Crest. This is Willie Jones, the Director of Neighborhood Affairs and Special Events. I'm here today with another segment of our flashbacks for the Hazelnut 2007. The purpose is to provide you with a taste of what happened last year in August for our Hazelnut Festival. For those of you who are not there, you missed a real treat. And one of the treats that we have today is we're going to talk to one of the performers from the Hazelnut Festival, and that group was RootsRockSociety. And we have with us today Mr. Stann Champion. I want to welcome you back to Hazel Crest, Stan.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here again.
Well, you know, you guys came out last year. You did a fantastic job. You're well received by the residents of Hazel Crest. So just tell us a little bit about who is Stann Champion.
Well, actually, I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I'm a product of Chicago Public Schools. I went to Wilbur White Junior College, then I attended Southern Illinois University, and I graduated from Chicago's Columbia College here in Chicago. So I'm kind of a Chicago product, and that's who I am.
That's who you are. Okay. We were just talking about your group and some of the special recognition that you guys have received for your work. Tell us about some of the special awards you've received.
Well, actually, this year we were bestowed the award of honor for our contribution to world music, because that's basically what we're about. We're about the music of the diaspora, of the African diaspora in particular.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's great. Then you're on a world stage, and you've taken the Chicago music and broadened it out a little bit more.
Yeah, we're trying to make Chicago look good. We're from Chicago, but we're all over.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your musical background. I mean, it seems like it's pretty significant. What got you started in music?
Well, I remember the first time seeing Chuck Berry on television.
Okay.
When I was very, very young, back in the old days. Right. You're talking about Chuck Berry.
Okay.
And I saw him play, and I said, "Wow, I'd like to have a guitar." And I kind of like flamenco music. I like the sound of flamenco music, so I kind of wanted to have a guitar. And when I finally got one for Christmas, a few years later, and it became my friend. Kept me out of trouble, kept me out of gangs, kept me out of jail.
Right.
And it was a good thing for me once I learned how to play. It took me a while, but
And I think you make a very significant point there, is that it gave you something to do.
Something to do.
Absolutely, and I think that's something we could our kids that'll look in and hope they can take that advice and look, try to find something they can do today. So tell me a little bit about Starstruck Productions. How did and when did it begin?
Well, actually, Starstruck Productions was something, Willie, I started back in college. It was like a little project, and the name kind of stuck. And I had an accountant that told me, he said, this is kind of a hobby, but if you keep this and make it legal, you got tax benefits. And I said, wow, a legal entity. So that started my business part of it, because I started a publishing company after that. So it was way back in college, I had started these things, because we were thinking about just not as artists, but artists that knew something about business, had some kind of business sense.
Right, and that's important.
For the long run, yes.
For the long run, if you want to, and you've been around since college, so you have a couple years experience, I guess, at this.
And it's a marketing background I have too from school too. So music and marketing, promotion, it all goes hand in hand. That's how I started Starstruck Production. Okay,
and then out of that evolved Roots Rock Society. How did that come about?
Well, it was actually a band that started between my brother and I. And, we were no strangers to culture, because my father was a good friend of Ahmed Jamal, and my father had a musician's name of Ishmael. So we had that culture in our background. My mother used to listen to a lot of records, Miles Davis, Miriam Makeba, as well as Ahmed Jamal and Miles Davis and John Coltrane. And these people were very much into the culture at the time, because African culture took over for jazz musicians once they got away from the drugs and everything. They started getting into the spiritual thing, and they started coming home. And so I've always had that in my family. So we started Roots Rock Society to keep our culture and our heritage together through music and sound, because the way the slave ships came here from Africa into the Caribbean, into the Americas, we take the music back from the Americas into the Caribbean back to Africa, and that's how we maintain our
And that's how reggae relates to Africa?
Right, and that's how we talk about the roots.
Roots.
And rock is our roots. We rock from the gospel days, So then we call ourselves a society, because my members are, we're very special. Everybody loves exactly what we do. We love our culture. We love our background, and it's our way of being able to survive in the ghetto, knowing our backgrounds. Without that, it's hard to survive.
It's hard. And you talk about the rocks and rock, and again. Could you expound, because people don't understand how, like, rock and roll and the rock and they hard rock that evolved out of all of this? Is that from our roots?
Certainly. I mean, if you talk about rock, you're going back to Jackie Wilson, Little Richard, James Brown. I mean, Ike and Tina Turner. Those were rockers first. It was rock, and then of course whoever was in the church, because that's what you did. You got in church and you rised up and uplifted. And that's rocking.
Okay. And that's so that all is, if I hear what you're saying, it's all of the music has evolved out of that.
Certainly, and still today, even the rappers. If it wasn't for those old grooves,
right. And I say that all the time, that if every rap song you hear, they still have a backbeat of an oldie somewhere.